2016. And for those that have not had the pleasure before, first of all, please turn off your phones or put them on silent. We'd appreciate that. Second of all, the way things work, once we're done with the roll call and approval of the minutes from the last meeting, city staff will present on an item, then we open it up for technical questions just to the commission. After we're done with that, we open it up to the public. If you have something to say, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and please try to stay on topic if you can. Then we bring, after public commentary is closed, we bring it back to the commission for discussion and usually a vote. With that, let us call the roll, Deb.
David Borsak,
Present.
Ed Bowen, Jeffrey Tomes, Thomas Foytek.
Here.
John Hintz.
Here.
Steve Cummings,
Here.
Kathleen Propp,
Here.
John Kiefer,
Here.
Robert Weigert,
Here.
Carl Nolenberger.
All right, moving on to the approval of the minutes for December 6th meeting. Do we have any corrections, deletions?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion clearly passes. Let's move on to item number 1, extraterritorial two-lot land division and certified survey map at 5340 State Road 21 in the town of Omro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The petitioner is requesting a two-lot land division from one existing parcel containing a total of about 38.18 acres. As proposed, Lot 1 would be 5.05 acres, and Lot 2 would be 33.13 acres. The subject site is located on the north side of State Road 21 in the town of Omro and is about 3 miles west of the Oshkosh city limits. The property is mostly undeveloped and being used agriculturally, along with some residential and farm buildings on the site. The surrounding area consists of mainly agricultural uses, along with sporadic single-family uses. The purpose of the land division is to create a single-family residential lot, which would be separate from the agricultural use. The petitioner has not indicated any immediate plans for development. The proposed land division will not alter the existing land use patterns in the area and is consistent with the city's 10 and 20-year comprehensive land use recommendations. Staff has no concerns with the proposed lot layout, as the 2 new lots retain suitable area for continued agricultural use and are configured appropriately for future residential development. The Department of Public Works has reviewed the proposed 2-lot land division and did not have any concerns.
Oh, there we go.
And here's the proposed CSM. And staff recommends approval of the 2-lot extraterritorial land division as proposed.
Okay, technical questions? Okay, seeing none. Anyone here from the public to speak to this item today? It's like, no, back to the commission.
Approve. Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Propp,
Aye.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Weigert,
Aye.
Borsak,
Aye.
Hintz,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Foytek.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, moving on to item number 2, two-lot land division and certified survey map at the southeast corner of Poberezny Road and West Ripple Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The petitioner is requesting a 2-lot land division from one existing parcel containing a total of 31.81 acres. As proposed, Lot 1 would be 18.376 acres. Lot 2 would be 13.436 acres, and there would also be 0.73 acres of dedicated right-of-way, which would be a 33-foot wide strip along Ripple Avenue. The subject site is currently undeveloped and is being used for agricultural purposes. The surrounding area consists mainly of agriculture and undeveloped, as well as recreational and open space uses. This request for the 2-lot land division is to create 2 buildable parcels for future development. The lot sizes meet the minimum lot area requirement, which is 10,000 square feet for the new urban industrial district where they'll be located. No formal development plans have been submitted for the proposed lots. The land division will not alter the existing land use pattern in the area and is consistent with the city's 10 and 20-year comprehensive industrial land use recommendation. The Department of Public Works has reviewed the proposed CSM and noted that a wetland delineation will be required. So as a condition, staff recommends that a note be placed on the final CSM which states that a wetland delineation would be required prior to development. Here's the proposed CSM. And staff recommends approval of the proposed two-lot land division with the following condition: that a note be placed on the final CSM that a wetland delineation is required prior to development.
Thank you very much. Technical questions from the commission? Art?
Kept the head on that slide.
Oh, hit. Any other technical questions? Okay, seeing none. Anyone here from the audience to speak to this item today? Okay, nobody. Back to the commission.
Second.
Seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Prop,
Aye.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Weigert,
Aye.
Borsuk,
Aye.
Bowen,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
Okay, let us move on. Are we gonna look at these together? Do you propose?
I can go through the comp plan map amendment first and then go on from there.
Item number 3A, comprehensive land use plan map amendment from industrial to residential for property located at 2521 and 26.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, the petitioner is requesting a comprehensive land use map amendment and zone district change of a 1.20 acre area located on two existing parcels located at 2521 and 2615 Bowen Street. Up on the map, I have existing land use and zoning map. The building at 2521 Bowen Street, which is this larger building right here, was an industrial building constructed in 1964 and converted into a multi-tenant commercial and service building sometime afterwards. In early 2016, the building was damaged by fire and subsequently razed and the site cleared for redevelopment. And then just to the north here, 2615 Bowen Street contains a 900 square foot commercial structure built in 1982 and was formerly used as an automobile dealership, which was Cherry Tree Auto. The petitioner currently owns both properties and is proposing redevelopment consisting of two 6-unit townhomes along the Bowen Street frontage, which is encompassing the area in question, and 4 self-storage buildings and an office located off of Leeward Court West over this portion over here. The storage and office uses are permitted by right with the current zoning. However, the residential use will require a comprehensive land use map amendment and zone change. The surrounding area consists of multiple family uses to the north and east across Bowen Street and manufacturing uses to the west and south. In March of 2005, the city adopted their most recent comprehensive plan, which was an update from 1993. It's been 12 years since the map was had a complete overhaul, so over time, staff realizes that periodically the map has to be revisited to accommodate logical requests or changes in future land use. In this case, I'm going to go to the next slide.
No, kidding.
Technology glitch.
I'm with new toys.
There we go. Okay, that's fine. This is the current land use, comprehensive land use map. The site is currently, has a designation of industrial land use, which was consistent with the former building that was there and the current M2 zoning, which the property is currently zoned. The petitioner approached the city a couple months ago about possible redevelopment for this site and to introduce residential along Bowen Street. Staff was open to the idea, and we felt it was prudent that we'd take this request before the Plan Commission, which we had a workshop back in September of this year. Staff got the opinion that the Plan Commission was receptive to the idea, so we informed the petitioner to proceed with formal requests for the map amendment and zone change. Let me go to the other photo. There we go. The proposed map change area is approximately 337 feet long along Bowen Street and 162 feet deep west of Bowen Street, and approximately 1.2 acres. In looking at the Bowen Street corridor from East Murdoch to Starboard Court, Bowen Street has served as a general dividing line between industrial and more recently commercial uses on the west side and residential uses on the east. Industrial development began in this area in the late 1950s to early 1960s, mainly due to its proximity to the railroad to the west. Now, in looking at this, staff views this as an opportunity to improve the aesthetics of the Bowen Street corridor, which was identified in identified in the 2001 Mayor's Gateway Report as a gateway. Over the past several decades, properties along this section of Bowen have begun to look distressed or tired. This is due to a combination of the architectural styles at the time of construction and general lack of upkeep and maintenance on several of the buildings. So staff is in the opinion that this proposed residential development might be a facelift to the gateway, and the construction of townhouses here will also serve as an additional buffer from the industrial uses to the west, which will benefit the residential uses on the east side of Bowen Street. The proposed map amendment would not have a detrimental effect on the surrounding properties, as the change is shown to be relatively small. Or a small extension of the residential areas to the north and east, and the demand for these types of industrial sites have been in decline in the past several years, and the city still has a surplus of similar industrial sites available. If the map amendment and zone change are denied, the owner still has the option to develop the site fully industrial, which would potentially lead to larger or additional self-storage buildings. That would be built pretty much up to the Bowen Street right-of-way. And so with that, staff is in support of the changing the future land use plan from industrial to residential designation as proposed.
Okay, technical questions regarding this? Ed?
So we're going today to R4, January 1st. We'd be going to
No, this would be
MR 12.
Well, with the zone change, which
Right.
which is the second part of this
Right.
report. But without the
So-
zone change, it would go to UI urban industrial.
Okay, so,
But we're not changing the west half of that property,
Yep.
still, it's going from one industrial zoning to another. So
Yeah.
it's really the stuff that's focused along Bowen Street.
right, so I guess my question would be, once this goes to MR, and this is, and again, this is the first time we're really looking at anything sort of with the anticipation of dealing with it under the new code. So MR 12 will permit so R4 has a multifamily structure by right of up to 21 units per acre. This is 12 units per acre. MR 12, would that be the same, sort of the same standard, that by right, with no further review, they can build up to 21 units per acre or something
No.
along those lines?
The
or
MR12, the 12 represents 12 units per acre.
12 units per acre. Okay,
And I
so-
think when I did the calcs, I think it came under just shy of 12.
Okay, so it'd be at 12. I guess, is there any further review capability? Is there further review planned under the new code that would bring the specific project back to us under that? Or would it just be, you can build 12 units per acre by right, go build your 12 units?
Yes, it would be permitted by
By
right,
right.
so it would just go
So-
through normal
And
site
if
plan
I-
review.
So that's kind of what my understanding was, but I recall our workshop on this we liked it, we liked the idea, big picture, conceptually, everybody was okay with this, but I think the caveat, I think David and I kind of settled on this, caveat was for the right project. Like,
And-
and I get it, you know, I like the buffer, I like everything that we're talking about here, but again, for the right project, because the wrong project here makes me nervous.
Well, I do have a couple renderings. I was gonna show these during the zone change presentation, but that's what they're proposing there.
Sure.
Uh,
So here's my technical question. Would it make sense to do this today as an M4, or I'm sorry, as an R4 with a PD? Does that PD overlay go away in the new code, or would that stay on there in some sort of classification that the project itself, not just the by right, you can build whatever you want? Would it make sense to do that? Given the misgivings of, I think, this table was, yeah, we like this, but it's such a prickly area, like it has to be really, you know, well thought out and really perfect. I don't know that I'm comfortable saying, sure, whatever by right is fine. I'd be more comfortable if we knew that this specifically was coming back to us with what we were looking at there.
I think, yeah, I think that's a valid thing to discuss, and we can discuss that with the applicant who's here. But I think you really, I think we want to cover the land use amendment. Because if we don't get through the land use amendment, if we don't think it's a good land use amendment,
Sure.
then point number 2 is going to be moot. So
And I jumped the gun on that.
let's circle back to that. The one thing that you did come to is if a PD was put on it, then the PD would retain itself next in the.
Right. I guess that was kind of my question, because I know
Yes. Yeah.
one of the points of the new code is to try to steer away from putting a PD on everything.
Yes.
So I guess I just wasn't sure how that.
And remember, part of the reason that we are going to steer away from some of this stuff is that we've upgraded some things in that code. I mean, it's better with respect to some of the
Right.
building materials and things like that are on it.
Right.
So that was
Yeah.
by design.
Okay. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that too.
If the-
Right. That dovetails with what I'm thinking too. So.
If the,
Okay.
if the plan commission's still concerned, we can have a discussion with it,
Okay.
about it, and then with the applicant.
Other technical questions regarding item 3A? Do we want to do public commentary after this is all over, or how do you people want to?
I do the zone change.
Let's just go to the zone change and handle them both at once.
All right, then let's forge ahead.
All right. Okay, item B, zone change. The petitioner is requesting a zone change from M2 Central Industrial to R4 Multiple Dwelling District. This, of course, is in conjunction with the Comprehensive Land Use Map Amendment. The proposed area of the zone change mirrors the map amendment area and follows the west lot line of a proposed lot, which will serve as a location for the residential development. The petitioner has submitted a 2-lot CSM, which is currently under administrative review. And the CSM is necessary since zone district boundaries are required to be coincident with parcel lines, and that industrial and residential mixed developments are prohibited on the same parcel by code. The R4 district is being requested, as it will be an extension from the north, which is currently zoned R4. Which allows the proposed multifamily structures by right and has a density of up to 21 units per acre. The proposed townhouse development with its 12 units would have an approximately 12 units per acre density, so it meets that requirement. We evaluated, or staff evaluated that, or if there would be any negative impacts on industrial properties to the west and south. The property to the west, which is owned by the petitioner, is proposed to be developed with self-storage buildings. And when we met with the petitioner, this was discussed and the plans for the mini warehouse development were designed. I'm gonna go to the site plan for that. This is the proposed site plan. When we met with the petitioner, this was discussed, and the plans were designed in accordance with buffer setbacks and landscaping requirements from a residential, or the proposed residential use to the east. And as far as the property to the south, the industrial use to the south is 100% developed and therefore grandfathered in, so they would not be negatively impact from the residential adjacent to the north. It's anticipated, or actually, it's been approved that on January 1st, the new zoning ordinance and zoning map will go into effect, which will make the R4 district invalid since this change has not been incorporated into the new zoning map. So we're just adding, not as really as condition, but as part of the approval, that on January 1st, this zone change will change from the R4 to the MR12 district effective January 1st of 2017. So staff is in support of this zone change, as we see this as an opportunity to allow for a redevelopment of a previously blighted and underutilized property. And if the previously discussed comprehensive land use map amendment is approved, the R4 district would be consistent with the comprehensive plan. So we're recommending approval of both. And then I was gonna go to the renderings here. This is a kind of an overall shot looking due west from Bowen Street, showing the proposed residential developments. And consisting of 2 6-unit buildings. This doesn't work very good either. And dumpster enclosure and 2 6-stall garages for the residential uses. And the 4 mini warehouse buildings. I guess I missed these units on the south side. And this would be where the proposed office use would be located. And it's just a perspective from along Bowen Street, kind of looking to the southwest. And I just wanted to have a shot of what was there previously before the fire took down that building. I'm kind of just, the entire area is kind of tired and distressed looking. And this is just kind of another shot showing this is the proposed site for the residential townhouses, and as far as being consistent and fitting with the rest of the area, Bowen Street is pretty much all multifamily on the east side, and immediately to the north there's multifamily along, I can't remember what street that is, but anyways, we don't feel it'd be out of character with the rest of the neighborhood. So there's our recommendations.
All right, more technical questions about either one of them?
We're working on technology, so. You like the screen? TV works pretty good for you? Better than that?
Very clear, very crisp.
Much better than what we're used to.
All right,
Go ahead, we'll work through these things.
When it works.
technical questions about either one of the proposals? No more? All right, anybody here from the public to speak to this item today, gentlemen? Okay. Back to the commission.
Approve. Second.
Are we approving both at once, or are we doing these one at a time?
Yeah, why don't you do them as 2 separate actions? That would
Okay,
help, 'cause
so now we're looking at 3A.
A. Aye, second A.
Been moved and seconded, discussion on approval of item 3A. Seeing none, call roll.
Prop,
Aye.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Weigert,
Aye.
Borsuk,
Aye.
Bowen.
Aye.
Hens,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
All right, item 2B.
Second.
Moved and seconded, questions or thoughts or discussion, motion, Edward.
My initial thought was that I'd like to see this with a PD on it. The more I think about it, maybe this is a good opportunity for us to see what our new code is made of. I mean, we put a lot of thought into the aesthetics behind the requirements in there, put a lot of thought into the mechanisms and all that sort of stuff, so I like to think that we hopefully did a good job. And, I'd like to just make sure that, I guess you are in agreement with that.
I'm in agreement with that, and the other nice thing about this particular, it is kind of this is more of a transitional area, and I think that the development being proposed with our new code is gonna upgrade the facing this area as you're coming through it. If you're button up against maybe any other development, I might have some more of the concerns that you have.
Yeah.
But with this going in at this place and this location, I think it is a good test of how our new zoning ordinance is gonna work. We did put a lot of time into that housing and some of that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's here is gonna be a marked improvement over A, what was there, and B, what is there from a residential standpoint. So, you know, I'm not concerned about this being something that's gonna disappoint us, I guess.
And local ownership helps too. I mean, I think you have somebody who's tied to the community, and it is always a positive.
David?
Just to piggyback on what Ed said, maybe as we get some of these newer projects, and we want to see how effective our new codes are, that at selective projects, perhaps staff could follow the development and report back to see to the commission to see if we have accomplished what we intended to do, and maybe there were some either unintended consequences or that we overlooked something, and that we can respond to them on a timely basis.
I think that's a great point. We try and do that with our codes, but yeah, to actually look and, you know, we're pretty good at, you know, when we look at a development, scratching our head and going, "Ooh, we didn't really mean that to happen," and bringing something back to you. But yeah, we'll report back if we start to see any issues with this stuff. And I know we're going to be doing some fine tuning of that ordinance. I know it. It's 400 pages. I know we're going to be doing something that's large font though, Ed.
Is that a crack about my glasses?
Lines
I
per
mean,
page.
what is that?
Oh, those aren't reading glasses, are they?
Steve had a comment to make?
Just a quick comment. While we don't usually think of County 8 or Bone Street as a gateway to the city, it is another gateway to the city coming from the north, and I think this is going to start cleaning up that area, giving it a more attractive and more welcoming appearance. So, thank you.
Ed?
Sorry, and one last thought, and this is for Tom. Tom, you're kind of going to be our guinea pig under this code, so I think it would also make sense for us to review with Tom as the architect and engineer on this project, and get his read on how did the code get applied, how did he work within it, was it a good experience? You know, that's going to help you to tweak it to make sure that in real life that document works for everybody. So I think that's an important part of that follow-up. So I know he's going to yell at me if it's wrong.
That's
You
fine
might
with
wanna-
us.
Exactly, you may want to follow up with him too.
Every project needs a scapegoat.
It'll be me, it's fine.
All right, anything else from the commission? All right, let's call the roll.
Crop,
Aye.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Weigert,
Aye.
Orsak,
Aye.
Owen,
Aye.
Hintz,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
All right, we have a planning director's report today.
All right,
My
first.
young friend.
Okay, first thing, first thing, and I didn't put it on here, zoning ordinance got approved, so we have brand new fancy zoning ordinance.
All right, I was gonna ask.
Thank you.
That's something to look
Also,
forward to.
It is something to look forward to. Got a tiger by the tail and figure out how to
All right.
tame it here. Secondly, we put this on as a heads-up item, just in case. It's an update on the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh Recplex project, and as you know, we approved the Recplex project a couple months ago. We've been diligently working with between university staff, their consultant engineers, and us to try and work through some of the conditions that we placed on that particular item, especially with respect to some of the stormwater. I think we're running into some issues with some of the stormwater on the project and how that was treated, and we're trying to work between the university, I think the DOA is involved somewhere along the line, the consultant, and us. So what might happen is you might see this as an item on an upcoming plan commission. If we can't work through some of these issues, on an upcoming plan commission meeting to potentially modify some of those conditions. We're working for it. We've been talking with Chancellor Levitt, and he wants to sit down with the DOA, with Rettler, with ourselves to try and work through some of these issues. So just wanted to put this on, just as a forewarning, but just kind of, you might see it, so if it comes up again, you kind of know where it's coming from. That's it, on it.
Sure?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Okay.
My name is Buck Barker with Rattler Corporation. Wondering if you had any
Could you step up,
questions?
could you step up to the microphone, sir? For the audience.
Yes, my name is Buck Barker with Rattler Corporation. I'm the design engineer on the site project for the university. So just wondered if you had any questions and wanted to discuss this a little bit further in depth, or is this not the proper time, or?
This group doesn't really know the issues that are being debated, so we
Okay.
couldn't help much.
if we actually have to bring it back to another plan commission meeting, then that will become
Then it'll
very-
be my turn.
oh,
Okay.
then it'll be very handy. This was just an item to talk about. There's no action even being taken on this item.
Okay.
It's only, we want to kind of alert the plan commission, inform the plan commission of the status of the project and say, hey, if we can't work through some things, we might have to bring this back to the plan.
I see.
So, thanks for coming.
Okay, my pleasure.
Poor guy probably drove.
All
You
right.
got everybody here for that, Darren?
Hey, I can move.
All the way from Washington.
All right, do we have a
I
motion?
had a motion on the floor.
Move to adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion
Oh my
clearly
gosh,
passes.
we earned this.
Have a great holiday. This has been great.
Who made